The first presentation is going to be a tag team effort between Brian Mintz and David Heilman, and they're going to give you an introduction to a program that's been under development for a little while, and now it's finally starting to become active. And I think you'll find it an interesting approach to not only technology demonstration, but also technology evaluation. Brian Mintz is the general manager of Phoscrete, the manufacturer of very rapid setting concrete repair products. David Heilman is the CEO of Jet Filter Systems, as has been that for the past 3 years. He specializes in substructure drainage.
How many people in this room are familiar with the ITD program, by a show of hands? So not so many. So we'll give you a quick overview. It's a working group from the TSP2. It's designed to introduce innovative and new technologies into the TSP2 organization. 5 years ago, following the lead of TSP2 Pavements, the Bridge Group formed a national working group called ITD, and we launched this pilot program. It followed the 2014 national meeting where industry field demonstrations were performed in the parking lot up in Orlando. Did a lot of you guys attend either 2014 or 2018 where you saw the demos? That was a really good, well-received program, and what we want to do is take that demonstration out into the field so owners can observe new and innovative products rather than services in the real world environment. So ITD again stands for Innovative Technology Demonstrations. The problem that we've identified is, first of all, incomplete documentation. I've been on job sites where the decks are full of what we call bubblegum patches from different products over the years. Some are holding up, some are failing. Nobody did a really good job of documenting those repairs, and with all the turnover and all the time, nobody really knows what worked and what didn't work. There's also a bias of case studies. As a manufacturer, I'm happy to show you 10 case studies where my product was successful, but just like my resume, I'm not going to give you references of people who don't like me. If I were to show you a report of 10 repairs that were extensively documented by independent observers and 90% of those were successful, which one would you guys trust more? Regarding one strike and you're out, if we go out there and do a demonstration and you try a product and it fails, you might never try it again, right? But if you saw an independent ITD report where other agencies use the same product, almost all with great success, do you think you'd give it another chance? And then finally, Interagency Communication. I know of a company that sold a repair product into several districts in one state, but after about 6 months, the repairs began to fail. So word got around in that state that the product wasn't any good, but they were sure successful in getting a lot of it installed. A few months later, I'm at a conference in another state, and one of the DOT guys comes up to me and says, "Hey, are you familiar with this particular product?" And of course, I don't want to say anything bad about anybody. What's happening is a lot of times people are putting in inadequate products. It's wasting people's time and money. So the ability to communicate what works and what doesn't work is really critical. Because of all the complexities and risks that are involved in bringing new products and services into acceptance and use by the states, ITD offers a faster path to demonstrate, observe, document, and share both successes and failures of innovative technologies. ITD helps industry speed the best solutions to market and saves the agencies the cost of wasted time and resources on unsuccessful technologies. The key point is that it's a joint effort. We provide field demonstrations, rigorous oversight, and all the results are vetted through the TSP2 working group. There's 5 partners in this: the manufacturer, consultant, the owner, TSP2 Bridge, and academia. From the manufacturer side, installation support and consultant fees are typically paid by the product manufacturer or the service provider. Keeping track of installation and arranging for follow-up inspections is also the responsibility of the manufacturer. Thanks to the independence of the independent consultant, ITD lends a high degree of credibility to the data from multiple installations when presented. The owner, any agency, can volunteer to participate. That can be a state DOT, municipality, federal, military, restoration contractors, commercial maintenance staff. The volunteer agencies are typically responsible for purchasing materials or products, providing traffic control, equipment, labor, and performing the repairs. The key, though, is feedback and follow-up to get inspection and photos. That's also part of the responsibility of the owner. TSP2 Bridge oversees the whole program, approves the participants through the working group, and then we publish the data on the website, giving presentations. Our plan is in 2020, that as this program has now 3 people engaged in this, to start doing presentations at these meetings and at the monthly calls too. And finally, academia. We've invited Mr. Tripp, where is he, around here somewhere still, hopefully, to join us. We're looking for an academic consultant on board to help with consulting, inspection, data review, and presentations. And finally, all the demonstration and reporting. As we've discussed, it's a simple 2-page application, the industry applicant and the demonstration plan, which is provided by the consultant. And I'm going to give you a quick overview of what we've done with the MALP technology, which is based on Phoscrete's product, and then bring up David here to talk about jet filters as well. So I'm going to kind of bounce through this fairly quickly. Got a lot of you guys are probably familiar with Phoscrete and our performance characteristics: 30 minutes traffic ready, easy to mix, place, and finish, chemical bond, cold weather capabilities, natural corrosion, and it doesn't shrink or crack. We were the pilot on this whole program, which kind of drew me in to get involved in the working group. One of the big things about Phoscrete is its time of set. So as soon as you're finished working with it, you're typically traffic ready in 30 minutes. We've been doing this for 5 years. The very first one was done on a deck patch in Mascot. It was a cold weather, below 30 degrees. And you can see there the 3.5-year inspection photo holding up. We did a vertical overhead patch using 47 kits from our pails to repair that corroded area without any sandblasting. It was installed by the ODOT bridge maintenance crew. Just completed in April a overhead shotcrete application also in Oklahoma, and that one was hammer tested 2 months later, and it's holding up, and we'll continue to do inspections. And finally, what we call our done-in-one, which is an expansion joint repair. Because of the rapid setting capability and our ability to accept a joint seal in the same lane closure, we can do both the header and the joint seal in one lane closure, eliminating multiple times to come back and do an expansion joint. And now the ITD program that's also underway, that started this year, is box culvert maintainable weep hole filters. And I invite Greg Heilman to come up and speak.
My name is Dave Heilman from Jet Filter System.
Oh, Dave, I'm sorry.
Yep, that's all right. We manufacture maintainable weep hole filters, and this is a new concept for many. What is a weep hole filter? Weep holes have been around for a long time, and the technology really hasn't changed. It's a hole in the wall with soil filtration behind the wall. So we've come up with, especially for new construction where you call for a weep hole, or if you have an existing structure where the backfill and the drainage has failed and you need to quickly and cost-effectively restore the drainage, we've come up with weep hole filters, which is very high level. It's a steel cage housing that goes into the weep hole, and then a removable cartridge that contains the geotextile that can be pulled out at any time, evaluated, brushed off, put back in. The geotextile can be cleaned and basically will last as long as the geotextile will last, which is going to be about 30, 40 years. And if you ever want to change the geotextile, you can just pop it out and put a different one in. A new company, we got started in the seawall business, residential seawalls, a number of years ago, moved into commercial seawalls, marinas, and ports, moved into retaining structures for land-based applications, started with the Army Corps and drainage water authorities and drainage canals, started in the transportation industry a number of years ago with the Federal Highway and the Federal Lands Highway and some DOTs and bridge abutments, dam spillways with NRCS, and moved into underground parking garages and foundations. We also do box culverts. So if you have box culverts, an existing box culvert where the drainage system has failed, our product can be put in to restore the drainage. But as a new company with a new idea, we had a number of challenges. Although there's 150,000 of the units out in the field, we're not on any preferred list or qualified product list, mostly because there's no category. What is a weep hole filter? Is it drainage? Is it soil filtration? So there are a number of discussions have been going on about, well, how do we get testing specifications? What should we be testing, even though all the components have been tested? So in discussions with AASHTO and APEL, they directed us to the Innovative Technology Demonstration Project, where we could go out and install the products with an engineer, with a DOT, and then it could be evaluated over time. How well is it performing? How well is it draining, clogging, and basically holding up to maintenance? So we started the Innovative Technology Project with Michigan DOT. Michigan DOT has used the product previously in box culverts, but they agreed to do a project with us that would be monitored by LS Engineering, one of their engineering companies. And it was a 172-foot twin box culvert that was in a high pressure situation. The ground was saturated normally the majority of the year. And the water would be flowing from the, down the median up against the walls of the box culvert. And over time, they had been leaching soil and sinkholes had been forming through the existing weep holes. So they had gone through and started plugging the weep holes. And as you can see here, the amount of erosion that was at the existing weep holes, there's significant water would be flowing the majority of the year. But when they plugged it, then they started getting cracks in the walls, and you can see on the ceiling, the land above the box culvert was saturated. The walls were saturated all the way up to the top of the wall. So the water was just basically streaming through the seams and the cracks. For the project, they took a day and a half, and although there were a lot of other people there watching the project, it really took 4 people a day and a half to core 52 holes, either in the existing spot the weep hole was in, or in a new spot if the existing spot was not adequate for the filter due to the erosion. And this was a unique project because it allowed us to install different filter fabrics. So we get a question all the time, well, what filter fabric should we use? We have these specifications. So we've got 5 different filter fabrics that are being monitored over the next 2 years. There's going to be an ongoing evaluation by LS Engineering, going out periodically and inspecting, pulling out the filters, inspecting them, checking the flow rate, checking the quality of the water for sediment that is coming out. You can see the clear bottles. Those are the 5 different filter fabrics, and all of them are performing well in this situation. And you can see that after 2 days, so it's not really a great picture, but the water had come down along all the walls, had already drained down to approximately the level of the filters. A week later, the water was down to the level of the filters, even though there'd been substantial rain coming in. So the 52 filters were all immediately flowing and have been flowing pretty much nonstop to keep the water at that level. So what are our next steps? Well, we're going to continue with this evaluation, monitoring it. We've gotten a few lessons learned that we're taking away, and the quality of the wall with all the erosion, that's one thing that we're taking away to see how we can deal with that. Taking that knowledge and applying it to new projects. But what we're also looking for are other projects with other agencies where we can go in and do another demonstration project like we did with Michigan DOT. If anybody's interested to know more about the product, or if you've got a project that could be a project for an ITD, stop by the booth. Thank you.
Just to wrap up here, we have a new application which is done by Advanced Chemical Technology on their silane and epoxy deck sealer. That one is being submitted right now, and they have a champion and an owner who's looking to get started with that program. Of course, each of us is also welcoming any owners who are interested in participating in the ITD to come on board and let us know. We're also looking for other industry members. This can be a service, it can be a process, it can be a product, anything that's new and innovative that you want to run through the ITD program. We're open to accepting new applications. We're also welcoming people to join our ITD working group. We've got a good group. We meet on the first Thursday of every month by telephone, and these are actual working meetings where we develop new documentation, review, vote, and actually take action without a lot of homework on anybody's part. So again, thank you all, and we invite you to participate with us.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.